Today I'm going to review the Luster Leaf Digital Rapitest Soil Test Kit. I'll show you the kit, show you how to use it, and then I'll compare the results to some results I got from a professional soil testing lab. This kit will measure nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and pH. But in today's video, I'm going to leave out the pH, which I'll do in a separate video, and focus on the NPK value. This kit includes some color-coded vials, along with enough chemicals to do 5 tests of the nutrients and 10 tests of the pH. The kit costs about $50 US, but once you have it, you can order additional chemicals to do other tests, and the cost of those are about $1 per soil sample, which is still a pretty good price. The cost of doing a soil test through a professional lab is going to cost you anywhere from $10 to $40 depending on where you live. Now the tube and the chemicals are all color-coded so that it's pretty easy to know which chemicals to put into which vial. Once your reaction is finished, you take the vial and put it in the tester and press the appropriate button. Unfortunately, the buttons and the lettering below them is not color-coded. So you do have to be a little careful that you press the right button. It would be really nice if this was color-coded. Now let me show you how you actually carry out the test and use this meter to get some accurate results. Let me show you how to prepare a soil sample so we can do the nutrient tests. First thing you want to do is move away any mulch, because that's going to get in the way. Now I'm going to remove about 2 inches of the topsoil. We don't want to measure that. We want to measure where the roots are. So let's get rid of the top 2 inches and then we'll use the soil below that. All right, get yourself a container and just get a shovel full of soil. Now you can just measure one spot if you like, but it's a good idea to take a couple different spots and then mix them together. So I'll get another 3 shovelfuls of soil, put them in the pail here. Then I'll mix it up really well. Take out any stones that you see or any pieces of plant material, get rid of those. Once it's all mixed well, then we can use this to prepare our soil sample. Now I'll show you how to do that next. In order to use this test, you have to extract the nutrients from the soil by using some water. To get started, use your fingers to crumble the soil and remove any stones and organic matter. Then mix the soil really well. Now take a clear jar and add 1 cup of soil to it. Then add 5 cups of distilled water. If you don't have that, use rainwater. Don't use tap or bottled drinking water since they contain their own nutrients and will contaminate the sample. Shake the jar for a couple minutes to break apart the clumps of soil. Then let it sit so the soil settles. For sandy soil, this could take an hour, but for soils that contain clay, it can take much longer. It's best to just let it sit for 24 hours. If after 24 hours you still have a very cloudy solution, try adding a few crystals of sodium chloride, table salt, and this should help the clay settle to the bottom. Let's test some soil. The kit provides a variety of different colored capsules which contain the chemicals, and it has these little tubes with color-coded caps. The idea is that you take the chemicals in one of these capsules, put it in the tube with the matching colored cap, and then add your soil sample. Then you also have a meter to take the readings. I'm going to work on potassium here, which is the orange cap. Step 1 is to fill your soil sample up to the top line. Now you can use the eyedropper that they provide, and that works pretty well. The nice thing about the eyedropper is it lets you get a very accurate amount of water, and it's important to get right up to that line. Now take the orange capsule and open it up. Now this can be a little tricky, so what I do is I squeeze them in my hand here to separate the 2 halves, hold it vertically, and pull the top off. There we go. Make sure you get all of the chemical into the tube. Put the cap on. Shake it for a minute. Now let it sit for another 9 minutes. It's now been 10 minutes and the reaction is fully developed. So it's time to take a reading of our sample. Take the tube, put it in the meter, and press the appropriate button. Now orange is for potassium, so you have to press the potassium button, which is this one here. And it's marked it as adequate. Now you can do it again just to be sure you're getting the same reading. If you get the same reading 3 times in a row, pretty sure that that's your value. Now repeat that with the other 2 chemical tests. The nice thing about using the meter is that you don't have to do any visual comparisons, and it tells you exactly what the value is. So this is a little easier to use in less expensive kits that require you to do a comparison. The other nice thing about this meter is that it automatically turns off, so your batteries will last for a very long period of time. Let's have a look at the results. The Rapitest and lab test use different words to describe the level of nutrients, so I've simplified things and will use the terms low, medium, and high. The first thing you will notice is that the lab test does not give a value for nitrogen. This is quite common. Nitrogen levels can change quite quickly, so they don't measure it in a standard soil test. You can get a test done for nitrogen, but it will cost extra. Measuring nitrogen is an advantage of home test kits, but there is a limitation. The test only measures nitrate and not ammonium, nitrite, or even organic nitrogen. Plants can use both nitrate and ammonium, and it is important to measure both. The second thing you might notice is that the Rapitest only gives you a range for the nutrient level, using terms like depleted or adequate. The lab test gives you actual concentration numbers in parts per million. You can see that the Rapitest and the lab test agree on the potassium result. They are both high, but they don't agree on the phosphorus result. I am quite confident that the lab results are correct. They use much better equipment and are regulated for accuracy. They use an ICP instrument for phosphorus, which is very accurate. The results also mirror the ones I got in 2016. When I used the Rapitest meter, I put the sample in and pressed the button several times to get replicate results. I wanted to see if the meter gave me the same value each time it took a reading. For phosphorus, it always gave me a surplus reading. For nitrogen, it gave me deficient 1/3 of the time and depleted 2/3 of the time. For potassium, it was sufficient half the time and surplus the rest of the time. It is certainly possible that a reading is on the borderline, right between 2 values, in which case the meter can give both readings. But it is suspect that this would happen for both nitrogen and potassium on the same soil sample. The digital Rapitest kit is a bit easier to use than the manual Rapitest kit, but it also costs more. It does not have a way to correct for the color of the soil sample. You might have noticed that my sample was quite cloudy, and it's unclear what effect this has on the meter. For this reason, I would be inclined to use the manual Rapitest soil kit, which does a good job in color correction. The kit does give you a nitrogen level that you won't get from a normal lab test, and is more convenient than sending a sample to a lab. If you have trouble seeing colors, it has a big advantage over other home test kits. Just press a button and it gives you a result. I think this type of kit is great for checking your soil to get an approximate understanding of nutrient levels, but I would be careful using them to determine your fertilizer needs, which should be based on numeric parts per million values. I have made several other soil testing videos, and you can see the full list by clicking on the playlist in the top right-hand corner. If you are interested in learning more about increasing the health of your soil, click on the link to my new book, Soil Science for Gardeners.